And I think that it gets lost in the shuffle because we all are kind of running at the speed of sound, but you have to stop and recognize that you're dealing with somebody's life.
Welcome to the REStrategy Podcast. I'm your host, Samantha Graff, alongside my co-hosts, Shannon Hall and Mark Jarbo. Join us as we lift the veil on the real estate industry and give you the tools to become a more savvy home buyer, seller, agent, and lender. Stay tuned because we're about to lay it all out on the table. We're finally here, the very first episode of the REStrategy Podcast.
Are we recording right now?
Yeah, we sure are.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
All right,
Okay,
great.
well, there we go.
And you are?
I am Samantha Graff, and you are?
Shannon Hall. I am the broker and owner of Dwellings, Michigan. We are a real estate brokerage in Plymouth, Michigan.
And I am Mark Jarbo with Success Mortgage Partners. I'm a branch manager for the past 8 years there, 15 years in the mortgage industry, solutions expert at closing loans.
True.
Wow.
I guess I probably should have said a little more about who I am. I am Samantha Graff, but I am an ISA manager and lead conversion sales trainer.
And you're awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. I really try.
And lead conversion is hard.
Lead conversion?
Oh, yeah.
It is hard. Well, you are a master at lead conversion, but you're also a master at human touch, like the way that
thank you.
you carry on conversations with people. And honestly, that's kind of the way that our brand has always been. Not kind of. It is the way our brand has always been, that we're just human beings having a human experience.
Right.
It is
And-
amazing how many agents I've trained over the years who approach everything like, I'm closing a sale. I've got to close this sale. Oh, you're on the phone. Let me close you. And I love that that's not at all what Dwellings or Success is about.
I think what makes us different, why my brand is different, is that we're a boutique concierge firm. So we cater very much to the consumer end of things. There's not a paycheck chasing because all the agents who work for me, we all do it one way. We're unscripted because scripts don't work when you're trying to make a connection with somebody. There are things about me that are different about you. So the way I'm going to connect with people is going to be as authentic as I can be, which is just being me.
Yeah, I think, because I do work on the lending side and it has to do with a lot of personal information, gaining people's trust is the probably number one priority that I have in my business every day, is to make sure that these people can trust me with what they're bringing me and what I'm going to be giving them. It's really important. The human touch is a massive factor. And I think all of us in this room really have that human touch.
And I think that it gets lost in the shuffle because we all are kind of running at the speed of sound, but you have to stop and recognize that you're dealing with somebody's life. And
Yeah.
the biggest
100%.
purchase of their life. And this is personal to them.
It's where you rest your head.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's where you go to have peace.
Well, how'd you get started, Mark?
I got started way back around 2009 when the crash of '08 happened right after. And I went into real estate. And I tell this to everybody. If I had Shannon as my mentor and coach, I probably wouldn't be doing lending today. I'd probably be the number one real estate agent in Michigan. Maybe
believe
not
it.
only
believe
in
that,
Michigan,
yeah.
probably
not.
in other states.
Yeah.
Because
Knowing you, you'd be the number one in multiple states.
it's like I'm a very competitive guy, right? And then I know that. So it's like if I had her, I'd be on another level right now.
Yeah.
I found myself in a situation financially back in the 2009-10 time era, and went into real estate. Wasn't trained right. I did it to provide for my family, but unfortunately, it didn't work out. So I got into mortgages, and I was a lead conversion guy, and I was number one
I know
in my
you were.
company for like 3 years and 9 months. And that mortgage company, the owners were stealing from my commissions, and the way that they did business was very bad, extremely bad. I had to get out of there and moved on and went to a couple other different lending institutions. But after that, I found myself with Success Mortgage Partners being the best company to be working with.
And I have to say, knowing the owners of Success Mortgage as well, I really find them to be outstanding in their field.
Oh, yeah.
Heavily invested in the education of their loan officers, which is very impressive to me. I mean, of course, numbers matter to them. They're running a business, but at the end of the day, they are extremely invested in the success of all of their lenders. That's hard to find.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I feel about my brand. Like, we've always offered all the services, literally all the services, and we've never been anything else. I saw what was being done to consumers in the field, and I saw cell phone pictures, phones or pictures turned sideways. Like, the agents weren't even putting their pictures up right. We still see that today.
Yeah, we sure do.
But just really sloppy real estate. I'm going to use my cell phone or maybe my flip phone, take some pictures and stick a sign in the ground and kind of pray.
Charge you 6%.
Yeah. And so for me, that was really hard as an agent to see what was going on, knowing what I was doing differently. So that's when I just got to this place where I was like, okay, I'm going to open up my own brand and we're going to do this differently. And that's all we've ever done.
But back up a little bit, because you have like a great origin story too. So how did you get started in the industry?
Well, I got started in real estate with the idea of buying and selling my own flips. So I got licensed in 2011. And, business was really, really tough then. And I only got a license to buy properties,
flip,
rehab them, and put them back on the market. But it was when I started doing that, I did do that. And I did that for years. But I also really loved the practice of real estate. I was a hustler. I worked 7 days a week for 4 years straight.
You're still
no days off, no vacations.
You're still waking up at 4 a.m.
Yeah. That's true. And I just felt like where I was, there wasn't any training. So I really kind of had to come up through from the bottom without appropriate training. So I started training at the brokerage I was at. I started training lots of agents, holding boot camps and all sorts of things, because I didn't want anyone to feel like I felt. But it just felt like that felt like a dead end to me. So eventually I just decided I was going to open my own brand. And we've had really good success for the last decade. It's been really nice.
I think the agents at Dwellings are trained the proper way. I'm sure you've had agents come in and out, right?
Oh, yeah. Agents will always go to someplace cheaper, like, oh, I'm going to save $1,000 a year on my contract. I'm going to go here.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Like, I've kind of become the local training facility, and that's all right, too. At least I know that the people I'm putting out on the street are doing what they need to do.
Well, there's also, you got to think about one thing. There's no more accountability in this business.
That's true.
And the people and the agents, with all respect to them, they don't hold themselves accountable for anything.
You don't have to
anymore.
give them respect.
Yeah.
Because the agents that should be respected, they have the respect. And 100%. I know some very, very good agents, but the majority of them are not good.
No.
And they're not even near good. They're all chasing money. And that's just not what our brand's about. It's not what your brand's about. No. And so, and I think that's why we work well together, because we do share a lot of similarities. But I do want to talk about why we're doing this podcast. And what I want our listeners to understand, that this podcast, yes, we are going to lift the veil on a lot of things that go on in this industry.
Absolutely.
And we're going to share some stories 100%. That are probably going to blow some people's minds.
Or piss some people off.
and probably
we want to piss some people off. I want to piss some people off.
Yeah,
I love it.
In my field, I've always been the one to kind of shake things up, and I'm happy doing that now. But this podcast is about the consumer, so the buyers and sellers, and educating them so they understand like what makes a great agent, what makes a great lender, what they need to look for. And we're going to talk about those stories. But also, if you're an agent out there struggling to do good business, to get referred, to find business, this is the place you want to be. You might not like everything we say, but it needs to be said. And there are reasons it needs to be said. And that's what we're going to cover.
Yeah.
We're also going to cover how people should be empowered with the actual true knowledge of this industry.
Yes.
Making them people that when conversating with an agent or a lender, they're going to know just as much.
That's right. Because we're going to, this industry has a lot of, I hate the word, but I don't know another word for it. It's gatekeeping.
Yeah.
But consumers, whether they're shopping their mortgage or looking for a great lender, or they're looking for a great agent, there are standards in this industry that literally don't exist anymore, but they used to. And this is what they're going to be able to find out through listening to our podcast and about understanding what they're getting involved in and why they have to know.
We're looking for people's growth, the consumer's growth.
And the growth of agents. People need to come to the table, being real with people, being able to educate consumers, being able to go above and beyond and get that deal closed for that client and get referred out.
I want to be able to empower, the consumer 100%. I also want to empower lenders, loan officers, branch managers. I mean, I got to this point in my success. I want to help those that want it too. I'll be honest with you. If there's people out there that really want more for themselves and they're finding themselves stuck in this rut of the rat race, I want to talk to those guys.
Yeah. And I talk to so many people every day who just don't understand the tiniest nuances of buying a house or what that first investment is like. The amount of first-time home buyers that I talk to that are what's escrow? Wait, my taxes are included in my mortgage? Or
the amount of people that think that real estate, I don't get calls now, you get calls, but they'll say, I was referred to you, how much can I afford? My credit score is X. And I'm I don't sell mortgages, I sell real estate.
Yeah, but we have access to those resources. And I'm also looking forward to sharing everything, to just being here it all is. It's all free to you. Just listen. We got you. So, yeah.
Well, I love real estate and I love talking about real estate. So I'm looking forward to this.
As much as I love the real estate side of it, I really, really love numbers.
Yeah.
I like crunching.
Nerd. Love it.
I like
hate it.
That was funny the other day when we were going over those numbers. You're like, what is that? I'm like,
and he looks at me. Well, so there's some things about mortgage that I don't still quite understand, and he's explaining it to me. And I guess I look like a deer in the headlight. And he's like, Shannon, how he talks. Shannon,
what's wrong with you?
What is wrong with you? How are you not understanding this? You're so smart. I'm like, numbers aren't really my thing.
Numbers are mine.
Well, we'll leave it to Mark.
But I can sell you one hell of a house.
Yeah, that's right. Well, here's to the next episode. And
I'm excited. Let's get going.
Yeah, we hope you stay tuned for the next one.
All right.
Thanks for joining us on the REStrategy Pod. You're the reason we make this podcast, and we'd love to hear from you. If you'd like to be featured and have a real estate story to share, good, bad, or horrific, go to REStrategyPod.com and share your story with us. Until next time.